Hello, I'm Elena Boy, and today I will be speaking on the not-so-fair fairness doctrine. To begin, what is the fairness doctrine? Quote, the Federal Communications Rule requiring broadcast stations to air programs discussing public issues and include a variety of views about controversial issues of public importance, from the source, Ekstrom and Carlson. It essentially used to require broadcasters to equally discuss political topics. This was to avoid bias and also educate the public. It originated early in history of broadcasting. Its content, quote, has been defined in a long series of FCC rulings in particular cases, and which is distinct from the statutory requirements of Section 315 of the Communications Act that equal time be allotted to all qualified candidates for public office. This is also from the source, Ekstrom and Carlson. Now, should the fairness doctrine return? Many have questioned whether this doctrine is truly fair and if it violates our First Amendment rights. The fairness doctrine was rooted in the media world of 1949. Quote, Congress backed the policy in 1954, and by 1970, the FCC called the doctrine the single most important requirement of operation in public interest. From the source, Reagan Library. Things, though, began to shift once President Reagan entered the picture. Quote, in 1985, under FCC Chairman Mark S. Fowler, who is a communications attorney who had served on Ronald Reagan's presidential campaign staff in 1976 and 1980, the FCC released a report stating that the doctrine hurt the public interest and that it violated free speech rights guaranteed by the First Amendment. Also from the source, Reagan Library. Reagan's administration presented the fairness doctrine at face value. It was invading free speech in a country that was founded its values on freedom. The administration knew that it needed to get rid of it. Quote, in 1987, the FCC panel under new chairman Dennis Patrick repealed the fairness doctrine altogether with a 4-0 vote. From the source, Reagan Library. Because of them, we have polar opposite channels that can speak their opinions openly and freely. I believe the fairness doctrine should not return because it violates freedom, and according to the Better Angles Society, quote, reinstating a fairness doctrine on the same grounds as 1949 would be impossible due to the growth of the internet and cable television. How do we solve increasing partisanship in today's media? In my opinion, the increase in partisanship in the media is linked to what is being taught in public schools and universities. The increase of bias in our schools has changed drastically over the years. In the past decade, schools have been teaching a more left-leaning viewpoint. This has become very dangerous because students' minds are at a most vulnerable state. Teaching a more neutral viewpoint with factual information in schools will help prevent future media presenters, journalists, and talk show hosts from sharing information that is biased. A quote I love that brings chills to those who hear it is stated as follows: "He alone who owns the youth gains the future," said by none other than the infamous Adolf Hitler. This quote shows that what we teach to our students will live with them for the rest of their lives. We must ask ourselves, what kind of American citizens are we raising up? Fortunately, as of right now, President Trump is doing his best to create a more neutral ground in the public school, but this will take some time. From the source, Binkley. Rachel Hartman, a doctoral student at UNC Chapel Hill and the paper's lead author, explained a way to reduce partisanship is to recognize the similarities that each side has, instead of trying to say the polar side of it. Just like I said before, the way to achieve this is to get to the root of when thinking starts, which is where education is taught. To prevent partisanship, we must create a neutral ground for our children to learn. Thanks for watching.